What do you want to talk about?
Wrestling! And here!
Wrestling?
Why?
It's wrestling.
It's wrestling.
Why? Why?
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Why not? Why not?
It's fake.
Fake? What the hell are you talking about? Fake? It's not fake.
Fake.
Wrestling's not fake!
Okay, wrestling.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ronald Ray here, your boy with a cornbread accent. Welcome you to this week's Spot Show live stream. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hopefully, everybody's having a good week so far. We're almost to that finish line. Well, for some of us. Of course, some of us have to work the weekends, and we're glad you're there to do that as well. So, how's everybody doing? Hello, Cap. How you doing? I have just plain old water today, so no matching Gatorade this week. Let's see. Hold on one second. There's something I wanted to There we go. You know, the usual last minute crap. Yeah, so we got a few things to get to today. We got to actually kind of talk about, okay, we'll mention other entertainment because some things in entertainment kind of goes hand in hand with wrestling. And of course, we'll talk about this Saturday night's main event, which features John Cena's last match. And that poor guy, he's got to go against Gunther. Not that Gunther's bad. Big Gunther fan, but I don't know. It might be one of those. He might lay off the chops, but we'll talk more about that later. But before I get started, let's do the usual thing here. If you're watching us live, please, I encourage you to join us in the live chat. Say hello or jump into any kind of conversation, anything I talk about tonight. Just questions, questions. Sometimes I have questions. Sometimes I don't know shit. Well, okay, that's a lot of times I don't know shit. Anyway, I digress. Hold on a second. I already got have a drink of water. But yeah, I encourage you to do that. But if you're not watching this live, again, hit me up in the comments. Give me your opinions about anything I talk about, or just be friendly, say hello, just like Cap did here. Cap 19815. I am surprised I can read that from this distance. I really need to get my eyes checked one day, not today. But anyway, so yeah, that knocks that part out of it. Also, if you dig it, click that like button. Also, if you like hearing a guy just like you folks at home, just a normal guy talking about the sport of professional wrestling, hey, be a champ. Click on that subscribe button. Did I get everything? Okay. This Shall we kill a little bit more time? Don't know how to kill a little bit of time today. Not really an adventurous week this week. Oh, does anybody live around Franklin, Georgia? If you live around Franklin, Georgia, I'll probably look it up later, but I was on a site in Franklin, Georgia today. I'm covering one site in Franklin, one site in Rockmart. And the site that I'm on in Rockmart is like a transmission line, but there's another kind of road that kind of goes that way is a base course road. Sorry, it's not gravel. It's GAB. But some people probably pass by it, still call it gravel. If I didn't know any better, I would have done the same thing. I would be doing the same thing anyway. But during lunch, the crew left for lunch. I stayed in my truck 'cause I had lunch on me, and all of a sudden I see sheriff, police, county police, uh, two unmarked vehicles, three school buses, um, nobody in it. Let's see, then bunch of more cops. Georgia State Patrol, 3 or 4 of those cars come by. Cars and SUVs, I guess you call them SUVs, and full size pickup trucks. And they weren't just taking a little drive. I mean, they were really heading somewhere. Let's just say that. Uh, but I don't know what. I just know that I was kind of sitting there like, maybe I just um lock the door here, let the window down, uh, lock the door here, and yeah, there's okay, yeah, you know, just in case, just in case, because I was actually talking to a coworker. I was like, he was like, oh, maybe it's ice, like down here in the boonies, and the crew who was working the site, they were all legal. Um, I don't think it's that. I think it's either there might be a meth house somewhere or a poachers. I guess I have no idea. So if you live in that area, you know something. Yes, yes. I was curious. I mean, I was so curious, but obviously not curious enough. When I was backing up to leave the site, I mean, the road was right there, and this was a good hour and a half after all those cars went down there. Now, few of the police cars left, not all of them, unless I mean, if they left wherever they was going, I'm pretty sure there's another way getting out on the other end. Three school buses, nobody in it. Not just one school bus. It was like three school buses and a bunch of police cars. I mean, no, there wasn't nobody in the school buses. I don't know. I mean, in the middle of the afternoon though, lunchtime on a Thursday. I mean, I don't think a high school or middle school football, baseball, or of course this ain't baseball season. Uh, Basketball. I don't think it's nowhere near basketball. High school basketball playoff time, and they usually don't get that kind of police escort. I mean, we're talking. I mean, we're even talking unmarked vehicles. Like there was a couple sets of two sets of basically 4 unmarked vehicles. I do believe. What that mean? It was more like sheriff, local, Georgia State Patrol, and maybe a couple of maybe I think it was like 3 unmarked vehicles in all, 3 or 4. Whatever county Franklin, Georgia is in. I don't know on top of my head, but I mean I would like I said that road was right there. I mean I eyeballed it. I was like I really want to go see what at least drive by and guess what's going on. But um, I know the coworker I was talking to at the time when all this, because I was sitting there talking to him about work stuff, and yeah, I'm kind of like I said, my coworker said ice, but I'm like, I mean, this is kind of in the middle of nowhere. Um, it's kind of middle of nowhere, and the coworker looked it up on the GPS where I was at. And he's like, well, there's not really any kind of farms there or anything like that. No big farms. So I think he said right on that road is like some kind of event center where you, I guess, have weddings or whatever. I think that's what he said. And there was like one big barn. I'm like, big barn. That might be some Breaking Bad shit going on in that barn. But I have no idea. I just knew as I was sitting there, I was alert and focused. Like I was wanting to start on my, weekly, weekly reports, but nothing. See, I totally forgot that's something kind of exciting happened today. But yeah, like I said, we were talking on the phone, talking about work stuff. All of a sudden, I see all these police cars going. I mean, they had their lights on too. It wasn't like, I mean, they wasn't going through there gingerly. They were boom, 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 boom. Um, I mean, slowing down, I guess, enough to turn that left turn. But like I said, they was straight line, making a beeline straight down that road. But yeah, I was talking to him. All of a sudden, I was like, "Holy shit! What's going on here?" So what are you talking about? It's like, well, there's one, two. I forget. I can't count how many police cars just drove by. I see. There's one Georgia State Patrol and 3 buses, and there's a unmarked vehicle. There's an unmarked vehicle. Then more police cars, more sheriffs, and things of that sort. And I don't know. Let's see. I was in Cedartown a few years ago doing a tractor supply when an officer got murdered there, and I seen a window buses, but there was a lot of cop cars kept flying around, or I say fly, uh, driving real fast. In case you didn't know, just hauling ass, uh, not around the site, but up and down the road and stuff like that. Then on the day of her funeral, it was. I mean, I don't try it, but you probably could, if you was in another town somewhere, you could probably get away with robbing a bank or something like that. Because I think every police officer, every Georgia State Patrol, a couple unmarked, but I mean, like no buses, of course. And so that's one experience. Then I was doing a few years ago. I was doing a Wendy's in Macon, Georgia, and right next door to that Wendy's was is a hotel. I think it's still there. It wasn't like definitely wasn't Hampton Inn or Holiday Inn Express or anything like that. It was just I don't know what the name of the hotel was. It's no name hotel. I mean, 2 stories, but 2 or 3 stories, but no name to it. But got there one morning, I pulled in. As soon as I pulled in, here comes, like I said, county, state, uh, town, FBI, GBI. I'm like, what the hell? And that right there was a big drug bust. And I don't remember they had a school bus. I mean, they might have. I just can't remember. But yeah, I think that was just a drug bust and hookers and stuff like that on that one. But yeah, I mean, I guess I can say, hey, at least it wasn't after me. But yeah, I'm kind of curious now. I can see if I can look it up. Anyway, let's get back to the project at hand. Y'all didn't want to hear about me. I wouldn't say my personal police encounters. Just the times I was somewhere and I seen a shitload of police going around everywhere. and that was today. So let's get back into pro wrestling. As you see on for the intro, we had another wrestler legend. Uh, guys, probably another guy's not really spoken about. I think he just when he got out of wrestling, I think he was around 40, and this was I want I gotta read the article. It'll tell you when he retired, but try and think about the shooting review he did, and I watched. But I think he just kind of got out before he got too old and injuries and stuff like that mounted up. But he was a pretty good performer. His name was Mr. Electricity, Steve Riggle, and I've kind of made some jokes about him. Not really, not making fun of him, but if you ever watch some of my wrestling gold Friday night, and I do a hit this today in wrestling history, there's a lot of times where Steven Regal's mentioned, and if you remember, William Regal was known as Lord Steven Regal in WCW. So a lot of times I'll be like, okay, not that Steven Regal, but this Steven Regal, you know, not William Regal, but Mr. Electricity Steven Regal. Then show his face. Uh, in case I'm pretty sure a lot of people did not know, but let's get to the article here. Mr. Electricity Steve Regal, a standout performer of the 1980s. I think I had his yeah, because I think I had him with Jimmy Garvin, which yes, the AWA figures in the 80s were way better than the WWF figures. I'm going to my. You cannot change my opinion about that. I play with the figures. I know. I know which one was better. But anyway, Mr. Electricity Steve Regal, a standout performer in the 1980s AWA scene, quietly passed away earlier this year at the age of 73. News of this death was not made public at the time, but records confirmed that Regal, whose real name was Stephen Michael Regal, passed away on July 30th, 2025. His obituary did not disclose cause of death, though it did note he had been living in Greenwood, Indiana. Regal's entry into professional wrestling was far from typical. As the son-in-law of Wilbur Snyder, he was first brought into the business through Snyder's request for a wrestling ring to be built. Regal, who had been working as a contractor, took on the job and then found himself hauling the ring to shows. That eventually led to refereeing and not long stepping fully into the ring as a wrestler. His early days in Indiana opened a door to a career that took him through the AWA, NWA, Memphis, Portland, Jim Crockett Promotions, and even the WWF. During his time AWA, Regal teamed with Jimmy Garvin for a memorable run as the tag team champions. The duo famously won the titles from the Road Warriors before later dropping them to Kurt Hennig and Scott Hall. Regal also found success as a singles competitor, capturing junior heavyweight championships in both the AWA and NWA. The NWA publicly acknowledged his passing, remembering his influence and impact to the junior heavyweight division. And their tribute, they highlighted his 1986 win over Denny Brown and praised his charismatic presence, noting how his work helps shape the path for future generations for smaller, high energy wrestlers. They extended condolences to his family, friends, and fans during this difficult time. Regal reflected on his own career during a 2021 conversation with with Hannibal TV, where he spoke candidly about choosing to step away from the ring on his own terms. He explained that he never wanted to linger in wrestling past his physical limits and made a decision to retire around the age of 40 to protect his long-term health and be present for his family. Careful planning allowed him to purchase a home and build savings, and he went on to work as a salesman until he retired from that career as well. So, yes, condolences goes to the family of Mr. Electricity Steve Regal. Okay, yeah, 3-pack, him, Jimmy, and Precious. Yeah, I remember that one. But yeah, he also did the corkscrew elbow as a finisher, and sometimes he would just do a regular elbow drop as a finisher. But I think we watched his one of his matches. I think it was with Danny Brown. I think one of the this past wow, this past July, I think, wasn't it? Independence Day weekend. I had that special watch along featuring the Great American Bash, the one where Dusty Rhodes defeated Ric Flair. So yeah, go back check that out. But yeah, like I said, finish this first as usual. Finish this first, then go back and watch that one. A lot of memories. Memories of the way we were. I watched the Naked Gun series. Okay, I finally I don't mean to digress anymore. I watched I guess the reboot of the Naked Gun with Liam Neeson. Anyway, okay, it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't as good. I mean, I kind to be honest, I kind of got almost bored with it. But yeah, there's Steven Regal, like I said, one time AWA Junior Heavyweight Champion, and there's him in the purple headband with the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship belt. I do remember that belt. I thought it looked okay at the time as a 10-year-old. Yeah, that belt looked cool with the crown and everything sticking out of it. I thought that looked like a cool belt at the time. Now a little Hollywood reporting. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, has added a major career milestone to his resume, earning his first Golden Globe nomination on Monday after a film career spanning more than 60 projects. His acclaimed portrayal of MMA legend Mark Kerr on Benny Safety's The Smashing Machine finally put him in contention for one of Hollywood's most prestigious awards. So, if you didn't know, the Golden Globes is kind of like a precursor for the Oscars, um, but it's kind of it did become kind of a major thing, and there was a little bit of a shenanigans about that as well. Uh, and I can't really how can I explain it? I can't really explain it that well. Um, it had I think Harvey Weinstein had a little to do with that shenanigans, and it didn't have nothing to do with, uh, of course, his why he went to jail for, but um, I think there was like money. I forget how what happened at least, but um, I kind of recently discovered something about that. I think it was it Golden Globes or Independent Awards. Gosh, I forget. I think I'm screwing everything up. Look, I got to clip the show with y'all later. You'll understand why. You're understanding why right now because I'm not as much of a movie fan. I am. I'm not that. Um, I haven't educated myself in the inner workings. So I digress. Anyway, Johnson's. But anyway, it's come a big deal. like I said, a precursor for the Oscars. Usually the same awards are nominated, and sometimes eventually win the ones for you pretty much know who's going to be nominated and everything else for the Academy Awards, the Oscars, which is see, I used to like to watch the Oscars because more likely, especially when I was younger, because more likely all the Oscar movies for like a long time, I think it's still going on today. I wouldn't even hear about that movie, and then oh wow, this one's nominated for an Oscar. So if I was around, people would try to guess which one's going to be the winner. I always guess like the most obscure one, and that one usually wins. It was a couple times they did it, and then, a few times they put things that people actually watched. But anyway, Johnson spoke to HollywoodReporter.com shortly after the nomination were announced, sharing the moment he learned the news. He described a moment that began like any other in his household, only to make an emotional turn. Today has been very surreal. I sleep in airplane mode on my phone and keep it by my bed. I get up, and of course, I know the nominations are happening, but I also know that I got to get up with the babies at about 6:05 a.m. So I got it off airplane mode and start to get up. I'm getting ready to go, wake up the babies, and I just hear one buzz. I went, "Oh, I just got a text. That can't be good." I grab my phone and I see my first text is from Ryan Coogler. I went, "Well, he's not texting me to tell me, hey, I'm sorry." So I opened it up. I opened that text and he said, "Congratulations, brother." Then came to find out that the one buzz I got wound up being just the indicator that I had about 250 texts. But Ryan brought the news to me. The nomination marks a turning point for Johnson, who has spoken frequently about wanting to take on more challenging roles. He explained that his this project and the recognition attached to it reflected years of personal and professional growth. A few things. One of them is the importance of listening to the little voice that sits behind your rib cage that at times whispers to you and at times pounds your chest so that you can do more, and there is more, and it can be scary, and it might be scary because it will require you to step out of your comfort zone, and then things are good. You don't want to step out of that zone because it's going good. But there is, but there it was more. I wanted to really push and challenge myself and chase the challenge. I had something very special in me, which was the story. It's been a long go with the Smashing Machine. 7 years ago is when I first met Benny about this. So it's been over a half a decade to get this thing going. And so it represents believing and listening to that little voice and also doing the work. Even when it's scary, surrounding yourself with the like-minded people who are chasing a challenge as well. That would be Benny, Emily, and Kazu Hero, who help me with this transformation every day. So, I, for one, I haven't seen the movie yet. Uh, I ain't seen the Smash Machine, but I did hear he did pretty good. Now the movie bombed, but um, and these days, uh, it's not it's not surprising any movie like doesn't make money or bombs. It's more of a shock of when movies actually do make money. But like I said, there's other podcasts and YouTube streamers and social media streamers and stuff like that who can probably get into nuts and bolts with all that better than I can. But except for there's been some movies like I think that what's that kids movie Zootopia 2 that did that did well. Um, there's another movie recently that did pretty good, but that was like two of them. Um, and there's movies that is going to do well. I think there's going to be a new Avatar movie that's about to come out or is out. Either one. Uh, I'm pretty sure that's going to do good. See, Joe King, I don't have any interest in it. Oh, come on, man. It's about an MMA guy. Oh, a rock movie? Mm, some of the stuff been okay. I mean, some of the stuff is like, I mean, I ain't seen like every one of them. I mean, there's one I was kind of disappointed in. That was the Shaw and Hobbs movie because it had him and Jason Statham in it. And I thought it wound up being pretty good, but it, some stuff in it was okay, and there's other parts where it's like, man, this movie's like dragging. It doesn't have to be this long. This ain't that interesting. Well, I think it's supposed to be. I mean, trying to look like Mark Kerr. Now, I do remember seeing a documentary about Mark Kerr called The Smash Machine, and I mean, it was okay. I used to watch a good bit of MMA back when it first started. I just didn't get all the pay-per-views. I would like rent the videos and sometimes watch stuff online when I could. But most of the fights I would see would be like 6 months to a year old, and sometimes by then whoever the badass was at the time, like Mark or Mark Coleman or Chuck Liddell, they kind of ran its course, or that's what it seems like. It seems like they have uh, short runs, maybe 2 or 3 years. I mean, like Ronda Rousey. I mean, she had as far as her being on top, main event, uh, and everything. That dominance. I think it what maybe a year or two, three maybe. But yeah, he's supposed to be look beat up, kind of like remember the Rocky movies, which I think they're all on Amazon now. All the Rocky movies with the Creed movies, which I haven't seen. I haven't seen Creed 3, which I wasn't that big. When I seen the first two Creed movies, I wasn't that interested in seeing them. It was like, eh. All right. So, in case you've been living on a rock, um, so far, uh, well, at least as of the beginning of the week, it looked like Netflix uh, was going to buy Warner Bros. Discovery. Netflix is the streaming. It started out as the first where you sign up online and they ship you DVDs to rent and you mail it back after you watch it. Yada yada yada. But yeah, now they became like the godfather of streaming. They're like the I think the top streaming network platform there is. But yeah, they were like, yeah, I guess them and YouTube, but YouTube is more eh, people people sharing videos or making videos. And Netflix was, hey, we show movies, then they started making their own shit, yada yada. But but like I said, so it looks like as of like, so far, it's all on the table right now. Netflix is the winner in the uh, Warner Brothers Discovery auction. They got the money, the stock options and stuff like that. Now there is people. I did hear people talk that Paramount is looking at to buy it too and do this whole hostile takeover. Again, I don't. I can't explain it to you that well as other people, but there is a YouTuber. I will share the link to it when the news broke that it could be Netflix buying Warner Brothers, and I get it too. I mean, for them, that's just going to be content. The owner of Netflix or the CEO of Netflix doesn't care for people who have doesn't care at all about physical media. So you're looking at if they wind up buying Warner Brothers, forget ever having any kind of physical media available anymore. And as far as theaters too, they don't care for theaters. It's them. It's like an old. It's like an old form of watching movies. It's outdated to them. Nobody cares to. That's why they have most of their first run TV shows, not only TV shows, but they make their own movies. Eh, some couple have been okay. Some have been not so good. Some of their documentaries are pretty good though. But but so for but basically, this is just going to be all um just content to them. I mean, we're talking uh the Harry Potter stuff. You like Harry Potter, The Conjuring. That's something that's popped up. Uh, that whole series. Looney Tunes. They own Looney Tunes. They also own the DC universe, the DC comics, like the original Superman movie with Christopher Reeves. Uh, all the Justice League, Superman, Batman TV shows, animated movies, Batman movies, Justice League movies. They own all, or Warner Bros. That's all under Warner Bros. Umbrella, and therefore, when Netflix takes over, eh, uh, probably not going to be seeing those movies in theaters anymore. Black Sat, I can't really explain it to you as well as somebody who's a little more in the know, so I'm going to put this link up to a video. Uh, his first name is Chase. I don't know his last name, but his YouTube channel is AV Pop Culture. Uh, he's he's a Georgia boy, of course. You gotta sit there and listen to the fellow Georgia boys, right? But he went to film school. He's made a couple movies, so he's very much in tune of how the movie industry works. And he's a big movie buff, movie fan, collector, all that good stuff. Always doing like top 10, like horror movies or 80s horror movies or 70s horror movies or B movies. Big movie fan. Pretty entertaining videos he does make, but he goes a little more in depth about this, and I think he put out a couple more videos. I know he did like a live stream talking about it, and he did make another video talking about maybe Paramount coming in and taking over. Only thing I know about that is like before the Netflix thing came about, people didn't want Paramount because of I think political reasons. Supposedly, I don't like I said I don't know. Don't keep up with it that well. I mean, I do have my own opinions. Um, um, it kind of basically this is one of those things that this is the bed they made, then they're just gonna have to deal with it. But a lot of people in Hollywood is like, I'm gonna steal somebody's joke, but it's true. It's like, hey, Mr. President, we know we call you a dictator and all that, but listen, could you uh do some dictatorship type shit for us? But I mean, there are monopoly laws and stuff like that. But joking, yeah, yeah, his stuff is pretty good. I love seeing his top tens and stuff like that, and there's some movies I forget about, and I was like, ooh, I need to go check that one out or check it out again, being an adult. But but his stuff's pretty good. gosh, I can't remember the name of the movie right now, but he did make a I can't. It's something road, Ghost Road, Dead something road. But he did a live stream watch along of that movie. But I mean, it's his movie, so he could actually play it, except for the violent and sex scenes. He had to fuzz that out because it is YouTube. But he played it, and from what I've seen of it, it looked pretty good. Um, and I mean, I was impressed to the point to where I was like, hey, where do you got a website I can order this movie from, or how can I get a hold of this movie? Um, and he answered my question. He's like, this right here. He held up the DVD box. He said, this is the only one I got left. I I think he said it's going to get some more printed, or looking to get more printed. But he said, I'm going to give it away with somebody. Uh, and the person who won, I'm glad she won it because she was like really into the movie, kept asking questions, stuff like that. So that's the only thing I do remember. I don't know her screen name or whatever, but yeah, he goes in more depth about it, the entertainment part about it, the movie part about it. I'm here to talk, of course. The Come on now, there we go. I'm here to talk about the wrestling part of it because not only does Warner Bros. Discovery own the Warner Bros. Movie library, cartoon, comic, they also own a few other things like Turner Broadcasting, which includes TNT, TBS, Cartoon Network, I do believe, um, HBO. Yes, I think they own. Yeah, HBO, Cinemax. So yeah, if you have HBO Max, that might go bye bye. So that so as y'all also know too, that Netflix uh owns the well, not owns the rights, but they're the home streaming network of WWE Raw. Kind of puts AEW in a pickle here. Now, when the supposed rumors about Warner Bros. Discovery selling, my thought was, it's like, okay, they'll sell to somebody, and then, in my opinion, they'll just whatever contracts they have with whoever, like AEW, they'll just honor that contract, then see where they're at and see if they want to continue with that partnership or say, sorry, gotta go somewhere else. Look for another station. But now you got the Netflix into it. I don't I don't know if they're going to really continue TBS. I really don't think that they might continue with the TV, but from what I'm hearing, the CEO of Netflix is not in the TV business. He's in the streaming business. I'm pretty sure producing TV for different TV stations is not. They don't mind producing television stuff for their streaming network, which some good, some bad. Let's see. Cobra Kai, good. I did dig Cobra Kai. I didn't watch the last, I think, 2 seasons. I think it was. Um, and of course, Stranger Things. Stranger Things. I think this is the fifth and final season of that show. Usually with Netflix, they'll have a first season or something, then the second season just like I think there's people who are fans of The Witcher. You see, here's another thing you got to consider too. I know I'm kind of digressing here. Uh, they're not that good at producing television as far as TV shows. So, with that being said, where does that leave AEW? Well, with them um, being or I don't want to say the streaming home of WWE Raw, uh, it's kind of. I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon still owned WWE, and this still went through. He might have had something in the contract that said, "Hey, you cannot show any other wrestling product, just us." And they have what shit, um, the unfiltered, whatever it's called. I forget what it's called now. Uncut, or what's it called? Basically, the behind the scenes Netflix show that you know that shows behind the scene footage of what's going on in uh, WWE, or supposedly behind the scenes, or let's just say not choreographed backstage stuff, but the part of this article, it does mention not everything moves with Netflix. However, a large portion of the company's linear television assets, including CNN, Discovery Networks, and TNT Sports, are are expected to be spun off into a new standalone cable-focused company that may operate under the name Discovery Global, led by current WBD CFO Gunnar Weidenfelds. Uh, For All Elite Wrestling, the fallout could be significant. AEW currently airs Dynamite and Collision on TNT and TBS, which would fall under the new linear only company that would keep AEW on television for now, but without financial backing of a large media conglomerate. Rights fees could become much tighter. The biggest blow is any long theorized plans for AEW to land on HBO Max, with Netflix absorbing the streaming platform. That door is going to be firmly shut. So Netflix already holds the exclusive rights to WWE Raw, starting that started in 2025, and serves as a global streaming home of WWE content, making the idea of them investing in a direct competitor extremely unlikely. So if it goes off to that linear network, as far as TV stuff, I guess it will still be on TNT, TBS. But as far as it being on a streaming network, that's not going to happen. Uh, Meanwhile, WWE has secured nearly every prime real estate media platform in the United States. So this comes pretty tricky too if they have to find another home. Netflix hosts Raw and serves as a global content hub. NBC Universal USA and Peacock carry SmackDown and all the domestic premium live events. The CW broadcasts NXT. Tubi maintains WWE related programming through Evolve. ESPN airs WWE premium live events monthly. And now, as we found out last week, AMC is going to be the new home of TNA Wrestling, which is a partner of the WWE promotion. With so many outlets already aligned with the WWE, AEW's list of potential partners is shrinking. Uh, and first one that they call out is Amazon Prime Video remains a possibility, but is heavily invested in major sports rights. Paramount could couple or begin the week. Apple TV Plus has shown little interest in wrestling content at all. On top of that, Paramount has already pushing back, suggesting sale may have been influenced by conflicts over future executive roles and insisting that adding HBO Max to Netflix's empire creates an antitrust problem. Regulators will have to weigh in before anything becomes official. If the deal survives that scrutiny, the ripple effect on professional wrestling could be dramatic. WWE would be tied to the biggest streamer in the world and powerful broadcast partner, while AEW could find itself attached to shrinking, leaner only operations with fewer streaming prospects than ever. So yeah, um, now I don't know how much longer the deal with them them being AEW and Turner Broadcasting will go on, but if they're on a separate linear thing, probably not as much money is going to be flushed into that. Therefore, um, again, if AEW doesn't shape up, then that could be one of those products that could be a partnership that may dissolve. And as far as now, say if everything okay, they bought it, signed a check, there you go, there's the money, we own it all. Now, I'm pretty sure if Vince McMahon still owned it, um, he'd be like, and say if they say okay, you know, you got these contracts with developers and stuff like that for another year or two, maybe I don't know. I'm just hypothetically saying. Then we'll keep that in until we just totally absorb all the content and everything else. No new content really, just whatever content they have, the movies they own, then uh, continue with that till contract runs out. Then uh, it'll be bye bye, all Netflix. Now, pretty sure with that being said, if Vince McMahon still owned it, he said, "Okay, I see what you're going to do there, but I'm pretty positive they probably have their as part of their deal with Netflix, and it kind of mentioned in the article right here I just read that uh, WWE doesn't want their competition on the same platform. So probably the only thing that would change on HBO Max or whatever would be like, okay, go right ahead, but um, this is part of the contract. You cannot stream AEW. That is competition. We don't have no we don't have no working agreement with them, so therefore you got next that. And according to contract, they probably contract's a contract. Don't know. Now I don't know if TKO's enterprise, whatever you want to call it, is that forgiving? Be like, okay, let them have it. That way, as soon as that deal runs out, they can find a new home. But yeah, it does look like. Even though you go on that or Amazon, but it's Amazon. It kind of you if you got like a Fire Stick or something like that, you're gonna find other streaming platforms on there. Like you can download Netflix on the Fire Stick. You can download AMC Plus on the Fire Stick, so on and so forth. I think even if you got a smart TV, you click Amazon. I think you use that to help download everything else. I think I can't remember. But I know there's sometimes they'll advertise the shows that are on AMC, like the Legends and all that good stuff. Um, is a no, it's A&E. A&E. See, there'll be there's another channel that I don't think I mentioned there that There's a A&E shows some WWE products or shows. So that probably will knock A&E out of it if they were even interested in doing a full time, 365 days or 52 weeks a year original programming of professional wrestling. So yeah, I mean, but Amazon Prime, I mean, you can already get the pay-per-views through Amazon Prime, but and I think Amazon was in the hunt of possibly getting the WWE on their platform, Amazon Prime platform, but like this, uh, Netflix had a little bit deeper products and was it how many billions of dollars was it? Good gosh. So yeah, you can't blame WWE for that. But still, could put them in a pickle. Now, I just did a recap of last night's Dynamite. Last night's Dynamite was pretty good. Um, I, like I said, me personally, I'm not gonna lie, don't care for the Continental Classic tournament, round robin tournament. Yes, you got some matches. You got a big upset result of one of the matches. Not gonna spoil it, but they gotta again figure out some way to get more eyes on their product to make themselves worthy of a new big money deal, as far as big money television deal and possibly streaming. So if Amazon is interested, I'm pretty sure they'll be like, okay, we're interested, but we're only going to pay all this much. I mean, 400,000, 400 to 600,000 views a week ain't gonna cut it, folks. Not when your competitor does roughly 2 million on one show. 2 million. I mean, of course, Collision, it doesn't draw that much. It's give or take half of what Dynamite draws. But it's on Saturday. I kind of give that a little bit of pass because not everybody. Usually, especially, I mean, I mentioned this back when Collision first started. It's like, even then, AEW is down to the diehard fans. A lot of those diehard fans are independent wrestling fans. Guess where a lot of independent shows or what day of the week a lot of independent shows take place? On Saturday night. So it's like, oh, should I stay home and watch Collision or um, should I, grab my front row seat or second row seat, pay my 10, 20, $30, however much it is. I think for Southern Fried it's 20. So, but I mean, some people, hey, they like their local independents. They going, of course, they're not going to give that up to just go to Collision unless Collision's in town that same night. But so that's where I'm kind of like, Saturday night probably wasn't the best night to have a weekly show. But I mentioned, was it last week before last, that Blood and Guts, uh, not this year, but last year's drew like 768 views. thousand views. Excuse me. Then this year, only 600,000. That's a drop of 168. I remember it was over 150. I know they, they lost over 150 fans. Same event. They even had a women's one. Brutal women's blood and guts war games match. But what we'll see. I mean, it looks like Paramount's trying to do a kind of hostile takeover. Uh, and I mentioned before, it's like a lot of the. I mean, this is as far, and it mentions in the in Chase's video. This ain't just a Republican Democrat deal as far as politicians getting involved. This is actually something they actually agree on. As far as this is one of those things they actually agree on. A lot of big Hollywood people that are kind of say, "Hey, um, we know we caused you some bad shit, but hey, uh, psych, whatever. We're sorry. Could y'all kind of not let this deal go through?" But I mean, there's a lot of things Hollywood kind of did that, I mean, I don't know how far. I guess you can say it's from 2019 till now, because even 2019 that you had I mean, you had a few. I can't remember how many billion-dollar movies that came out in 2019. Uh, I really can't. Oh, I think somebody said like six that year, maybe. Can't remember. Like I said, I can't remember. Um, but I mean, it's been, if you watch it and see where they flow, you kind of then you had the COVID, then the the actor strike along with the writer strike, and there might be another writer strike happening maybe next year. Depends. Next year or a year after that. Um, and when they're on strike, they don't write. They don't shoot anything. They just it goes. It just nothing is put out. Nothing is made. Now I know used to. I do know this because back a few years ago they had a writer strike, and you had a bunch of independent movies come out, and it had a lot of stars on there. Uh, one thing comes to my mind. There's this movie called Now You Know, had Jeremy Sisto in it. I don't know if you, I don't know if any of y'all were fan of Clerks or Clerks 2 or Clerks 3. The guy playing Randall, he wrote and directed that movie, and he was able to get, um, hmm, can't think of that. Uh, what's her name? Can't think of her name now. She was on like a hit TV show. I know Jeremy Sisto was in it, and let me look it up right quick for y'all. Whoops. Uh, yeah, this one came out in 2002. So yeah, I think there was a impending. Jeff Anderson is his name, but it had Rashida Jones was in it. Who else was in it? Uh, anyway, one. I digress. But had Rashida Jones and Jeremy Sisto in it, and definitely not the big name like Brad Pitt at the time or anything like that, but they were in a bunch of stuff. I think Rashida Jones in a hit TV show on NBC. I don't watch much TV. I just know she was on it. I think it was like Parks and Recreation or something like that. I can't remember. Or Community or 30 Rock. One of those shows. I know the names of them, but I couldn't tell you who was in it or everybody who was in it. But anyway, in the DVD commentary, they talk about they were able to get Rashida Jones and Jeremy Sisto because they knew the upcoming strikes coming up, so they want to get payday, and so uh, them and a few other uh, bigger name actors did some independent movies, so they can, I guess, have a little bit of a pocket change as the strike's going on. You make sure you keep those. You make a $10 million movie. You want to make another 300,000 or $1 million. Just make sure you got a little bit extra change in your pocket. Help keep those lights on. But kidding, folks. But I noticed on this, I haven't noticed any kind of independent movies really that did that before this strike. So I don't know if this is kind of a union thing. They got to go through like a lot of unions now, unlike it was how it was before. Because I remember when Clerks was made. Clerks, they Kevin Smith basically made it for like what was it, 25, $30,000, and he had pretty good credit, so he got a bunch of credit cards, and that's how he paid for the making of the movie. Good for him because he made all that money back and a little more than that, and wound up paying those credit cards off and made a few good movies, but he not the same Kevin Smith is old, but so there's that in there, and but like I said, as far as the movies part, I'm not that educated. Just kind of focus on the wrestling part. It does put AEW in a pickle as far as them wanting to go uh, to a streaming platform, get that big money streaming, and I don't know how much. I don't think it's done WWE that well. I mean, they fill their pockets up, but I think they still draw about the same, about 2 million views a week. I think I don't pay attention that much to it. Um, and with streaming, it's kind of hard to get a number. I think they were. I think I seen something earlier that was like number two as far as all the Netflix stuff. Of course, Stranger Things kind of blew everybody out. Everybody's ready for that show ending and all that good shit. I had a lot of good fans of that show. I watched the first few seasons. I don't think I watched season four, but I thought this nostalgia thing I kind of dug. The '80s type stuff. But anyway, that's kind of my opinion. Like I said, maybe right because I mean TNA they were on Spike Network. Then I mean I think Spike Network helped pay for Sting and Kurt Angle's contracts, if I heard right. Uh, I don't I don't think I don't think anybody's helping. I don't think TBS or anything is helping Tony Khan of contracts. But it's like I said months ago, somebody's going to be looking at the number. Somebody's already looked at these numbers. I mean, that's why they're doing shows in smaller venues. Uh, Last night, Dynamite, Gateway Arena in College Park, Georgia. Maybe 8 to 10,000 people. That that not including what probably the seats got cut off for their set, not for you know because they the hard cam or anything like that. Um, but But like I said, they weren't at State Farm Arena in Atlanta. They were in the local arena. I think the Gateway is the home of the Atlanta WNBA team. There you go. Now I did hear the only time they do come uh to State Farm is when what's that girl's name? Caitlin Clark. Is that right? Her first year when whoever team she's on faced Atlanta, then they had to move the game to that one because she was a draw. But so yeah, like I said, somebody's already looking at these numbers. That's not Tony Khan, and somebody's saying, "Hey, you got to pull back on this." And like I said before, now we got smaller arenas. If they don't get a big TV deal, because I mean, if I own a TV station, I'm like, hey, I'm a huge wrestling fan. Yeah, I do watch your product. It's got its moments, but I'm not giving you. You know what? Just because I like you, yeah, I'll give you a slot, but I'm only going to pay you this. I can't justify paying you this much. I can give you this much. I can't justify paying you uh anywhere near $1 billion. But and that's what if they're lucky. I mean, even Amazon, they'll be like, I just don't see them overpaying for anything. I mean, they overpay for a couple things, but they screwed like the Lord of the Rings. So I think they own some of that property, and they screwed it up themselves. They did. But anyway, uh, that's all I got for the Warner Brothers deal. But maybe Paramount might buy them out and kind of keep them going. We don't know. And I've heard this is what I've heard other people. The worst case scenario was Netflix buying it. Uh, it's bad. It sucks that they're having to sell anyway. I heard wasn't AV Pop Culture or someone else was like maybe they could have sold off some of the assets or some of the assets. Maybe they could have sold Looney Tunes. Maybe they could have sold DC or something, or partner with somebody. It's like, okay, well, I mean, they get their own streaming network, but um, sold off some of the property. Then maybe they could have uh, gone afloat, kept going. But anyway, all right. Of course, this Saturday night. Speaking of Saturday Night Wrestling, we got Saturday night's main event coming up this Saturday. Of course, the highlight of that is the final match of John Cena. I think he signed another deal, but I think it's one of those deals where you might see him even less than what you see him now. Oh yeah, he did a full year deal, which is cool, but it was still not the full time deal. I think this is going to be even less than that. Maybe it's a Royal Rumble or Survivor Series or definitely WrestleMania, and it might be one of those he makes an appearance. If you wrestle somebody, it's not going to be for anything. It's just an attraction match. Nothing more than that. So, and usually on these Saturday Night's main event, put a whole lot of stock in them as far as who may win. Pretty predictable. So we got only 4 matches so far. I don't know if they gonna have any more, but only 4 matches. So one of them is Bailey versus Sol Ruka. Of course, she's a big star at NXT. Probably gonna be called up soon. She'll be taking on Bailey. I think they'll probably let Bailey win this one, or maybe have Sol Ruka have an upset because I think that's all going to depend on how or soon she's going to be called to the main roster. Of course, this is December. If she's going to come in after WrestleMania, then I can see Sol Ruka uh, probably getting an upset win here, and then being in the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble match. Then, of course, come after Mania, she'll be on either Raw or SmackDown main roster. And you got AJ Styles, Dragon Lee, the tag team champions, going up against NXT's Javon Evans and TNA X Division champion Leon Slater. Was kind of impressed with this Javon Evans. I see him in the match with Gunther a couple weeks ago. Pretty good, tall, lanky kid, very athletic, likes doing the flips too. But I'm pretty sure they kind of toned it down a little bit. Said, okay, you know, you don't have to show off everything you can do in every one of your matches. That's how you get stale. So let's, kind of scale back a little bit. Have yourself some, like everybody else, have some signature moves, and then maybe in the big, money pay-per-views or something, or premium live events, then you got to highlight one of the other, 2,000 moves. Leon Slater, I can't really. I know he's the X Division champion. That's all I know. Like I said, I haven't watched much uh, TNA. But AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, man, they've been tearing it up, man. They've been having some great tag team matches. They had a great one with, well, the match they won the titles against Judgment Day. Kick ass match. The rematch kicked ass. They had a match with the New Day. Very good match. This past Monday, they had a match with the War Raiders. And you folks know what a big fan of the War Raiders I am. Not. But um, but they had, Lee and Styles. I had a great match with them. I did see that Styles clash. I think those boys are a little too big for that. So AJ got the win with a phenomenal forearm. But I think this is going to be the same way. Lee and Styles prevail, keep the tag team championship. So this is going to be a champion versus champion match. I don't think there's any belts involved in this one. Cody Rhodes, the undisputed WWE champion, will be taking on Alba Femi, the NXT champion. A lot of people impressed with this guy. Big dude. I haven't watched too many of his matches either. Like I said, could be a future star in the making. You got, of course, a lot of people in that wrestling community like, oh, Cody should just put him over. What's going to matter? Because he's Cody fucking Rhodes. You don't have to put nobody over. I don't, I don't. Cody wins it. I don't think it's going to hurt Oba to lose to Cody Rhodes. Uh, maybe I did see some people predicting maybe Drew McIntyre probably interfering, causing the decision. Might, or hey, let's let go Broadway. You don't time limit draw. You know, I know Cody can go about 15 minutes. This big guy, I think he can muster 15 minutes. There you go. It don't need to be a long match. And maybe, like I said, double disqualification, Smiles, that's gets because of Drew McIntyre gets involved. Um, Something like that. That one hurt. When's the last time WWE had a match and go Broadway? Not that I'm a huge fan of those types, but that's the thing about Saturday Night's main event too. They don't have long matches. It's boom, 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 let's go. So, because I don't think the show even lasts 2 hours. I can't remember because I wound up watching a replay of it, and it's not even 2 hours on the replay. And of course, I skip a lot of shit too. And of course, the big match of Saturday Night's main event, it is John Cena's final match. He will be going against Gunther. Gunther won the last time right now tournament to win the right to face John Cena in his final match, defeating LA Knight. Like I said, I mentioned before, he had a pretty good match with Javon Evans. Uh, and this is going to be a good one. I mean, Gunther gonna freaking go. Not sure how much he's going to light up freaking John Cena with those chops, but come on, Cena, you got to take a few of them. But don't see Gunther winning this one. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if John Cena does win. But it's one of those deals. It's like, okay, Gunther won this tournament. It's time to elevate him back up because to either maybe go after the championship, the World Heavyweight Championship again, which is, CM Punk has it now. Uh, could be come January. I know January 5th, the first Monday of the new year, there's going to be a match between CM Punk and Braun Breaker. I wouldn't mind seeing Braun Breaker become champion. Why not? Then you got to put Gunther back in there somehow. Maybe they'll turn Gunther babyface. But ain't like he cheat. I mean, I know in that Solo Sokoa match he did kick him in the elbows to help win the match, but it's not like he cheats a lot. Uh, kind of arrogant, because he's the ring general and all that, the best uh, pure wrestler in the WWE or of all of wrestling. Depends on how you look at it. But yeah, time to get that win over John Cena. Uh, Power bomb, whatever, choke him out. John Cena passes out. Get your flowers, wave to the crowd, maybe shake Cena's hand, or just leave the ring right then. Let everybody stand up, do the thank you Cena, chants. And then he, tips his cap and, rides off in the sunset for now. And there's probably rumors that he might be at WrestleMania, might have an actual match at WrestleMania this year. Don't know against who. Might be Jericho, might be Edge, might be Santa Claus. I don't know. But yeah, Gunther needs to go win this one. Get back, elevate him back up. Keep him in that world title picture. Then I don't know. Might be cool. He defeats Cena. Now I know my prediction all year long has been Sami Zayn winning the Royal Rumble, then going on to face. First, I thought it was going to be Seth Rollins, at WrestleMania and become World Heavyweight Champion. They might do a title change January 5th, have Braun Breaker win it, and it could be Sami Zayn against uh, Braun Breaker. And Sami Zayn gets this WrestleMania moment. Blah. Now he'll come out, get the "You deserve it" chant, then nobody will give a shit the next day. But hey, here's a new possibility. Gunther wins the Royal Rumble this year, then goes up against Breaker or go up against Cody Rhodes. That could be interesting. Interesting stuff there. And that's all I got as far as predictions, news, and everything else. What's this button for? Oh, nothing. But oh, that makes sense of anything I talked about tonight. uh, yeah, I mean the whole AEW thing and Warner Bros. That's a lot of that's a big thing to kind of unfold there. Good God, that's a lot of money. Anyway, well, I think that's going to do it for me this evening. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Tomorrow night, Wrestling Gold Friday night, 8 o'clock. Tomorrow night. Uh, I'm not going to do Glow, but I will be doing the watch along of LPWA, Ladies Professional Wrestling Association. Uh, I think they took the wrestling more serious than they did Glow. Like I said, I was thinking about putting Glow there, but I was like, I don't know. I was kind of like watching a little bit of it last week. And I was like, this is. I probably killed the town with that one. You know, my usual people, Joe, Brenda, Karen, they probably won't watch this shit after that. Um, but yeah, so yeah, LPWA, I do remember watching that. A little bit of the AWA influence without really, uh, there's no Verganya. Uh, I think Joe Pensino helped with that. I know he did some commentary. Yeah. Um, you know what? People used to complain about the WWE network. I don't think they complain. I think people. I'd rather have the WWE network back. $10 a month. You watch your premium live events. If you didn't catch Raw, you catch it. A week later, within a week later. Um, plus all that because they have all that library. My only gripe about that was the music, of course. But other than that, man, I went in there and I watched. I think they had Mid Atlantic Wrestling from '82 or '83 to uh, trying to figure out what it capped off at. But they had World Championship Wrestling, the TBS studio show from 80 from the time they took it over '85 to Saturday nights, um, WCW Saturday night. Then uh, I think every episode from there, all the Nitros and WWE. They had all the Saturday night's main event. I think they had a lot of the wrestling challenges on there. There's syndicated shows, uh, all the Raws as well, all the WWF pay per views. and some of the other stuff they had. They had, you know, a few AWA world class stuff. Whatever property they own, they showed it. Or what very little of, you know, property they own. So I know they show some global stuff, but they ain't have the complete global wrestling federation library. Some Miss South stuff, but not. Cause I think Bill Watts' ex-wife, I think, owns a lot of that shit too. So yeah, like I said, if my only complaint was the music thing, then I thought the network was great. Yes, and the music thing was a little frustrating, but you know, I get it. You know, these struggling rock stars and their $1 million homes, they gotta make sure they get their royalty checks and whatnot. But like I said, that's just them. I, there's a few other wrestling streaming sites, but I can't. There's one of them. It's pretty interesting. I haven't looked into. I mean, I haven't watched anything of it because I ain't paid. Um, but I think during probably one of these weekends soon, I might look into it, see how much it is. Maybe during if I'm off Christmas holiday or Christmas Eve, I'm supposed to work. I think from Christmas Day to January 5th, because January 2nd falls on a Friday. I'm not not going in that. If I'm off all that time, I'm not going in. I'm not. No, not just going to come in for Friday and ruin, you know, what could be 3 more days of relaxation. Oh, because I need it. I'm tired. I don't think I've had. I don't think I've had a lengthy time off. Gosh, what, 3 or 4 years, if that. I'm just been. Well, crap. I'm trying to think about. Hell, let's see. Pandemic. I don't think I got lengthy time off. I don't think. The only time I got a lengthy, you know, week off is when I had a flu. That was not fun. That sucked. But maybe I check if it's if it's pretty cheap. I'll check it out for a month. I think it's called Wrestling Classic Network or something like that. Can't remember. I just know I see it advertised on my Facebook page. And it looks like they has some good stuff. I think that has some Southern Championship Wrestling from Georgia on there. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for me this evening. Speaking of work related stuff, I got some packing to do. Get ready to load it up and work and head home tomorrow. Thank goodness. Like I said, appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate everybody tuning into the chat. If you're watching this not so live, and please let me know what y'all think in the comments. Don't forget to uh, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Other than that, you folks have a good one. Take it easy. And until next time.
So long from the peach state of Georgia.
Ronald Ray here saying thank you for checking out my video. If you don't mind, go ahead and click that thumbs up button, leave a comment, and share this video with family and friends. I would also appreciate it if you would subscribe to RP2 Vision, where I cover the sport of professional wrestling from yesterday to today. Now, don't forget to click the notification bell as well, so you'll be notified when my other weekly content is available, like Wrestling Trivia Tuesday, WWE Raw Recap, and AEW Dynamite Recap. I also have 2 live streams. Every Thursday at 8 p.m., it's Spot Show live stream, where I discuss the latest news in professional wrestling. And on Friday nights at 8 o'clock p.m., it's Wrestling Gold Friday Night, where I discuss the good old days of professional wrestling. When wrestling was wrestling, wrestling was real because it's still real to us. Folks, have a good one and take it easy.